Today we're prepping this G20 M340i for some more boost by adding a charge pipe. Bryan, thanks for watching Kies Motorsports. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and check us out at KiesMotorsports.com. Behind me, we have Edwin's amazing G20 M340i, and today we're going to do some preventative maintenance so we can turn up the boost. BMW makes some incredible cars, but one of the things that they lack on is, well, their charge pipes. You see, BMW thought it was a good idea. It might be cost, might be weight, who knows what it really is. But they put plastic charge pipes in these B58s, the N55s, N54s, you name it. They probably have a plastic charge pipe. And well, it's all well and fine when everything is new. Once they start to age or when you start turning up the boost, boom, they explode. So today, we're gonna show you how to install an FTP charge pipe on this B58. Let's get started by pulling the motor cover. So to do so, we're gonna lift it up right there. We're gonna lift it up over there, and then lift it up over there. It's just held in with these little rubber grommets. So you can see there's just 4 of them, and then they go on these little pegs that look like that. The next part of the process, now that the motor cover is off, is to remove the air box. So to do this, what we're gonna do, you're gonna just gently lift that clip up like that, then you press it down and you're gonna slide it off. And then when you reinstall it, you push it down and you push this little retaining clip back in. Now, sometimes you can get it with your nail, but it's a lot easier if you just get it just very gently with a screwdriver. And then again, you just press on that and that little tab in there is gonna lift up. You can slide it right off. Then you're gonna take a flathead screwdriver, release this hose clamp here. And you're gonna take the inlet, you're gonna wiggle it down, and then you're gonna take this entire air box, and you're just gonna pull it straight up, just like that. Now, just like the motor cover, the only thing that's really holding this in are these little rubber grommets and these little plastic pegs. So if they do come out like this, all you need to do is just slip them back into place. Now that the intake is out of the way, we need to remove the inlet. So to do so, there's a little vacuum line that needs to be disconnected down here. Now, it's a little bit hard to show you, but we can show you an example on the top of the motor. So here's another example of one of these clips. So basically it's shaped like an oval. It has ridges on the left and the right, and it's secured by a little clip on the top and on the bottom. So what you do is you squeeze this in, and then that's going to release the clip on the top and the bottom, and then you can pull it off, just like that. So if we take a look in there, you can see that there's a little clip here, little clip there, and then once you're ready to reinstall it, you just snap it in. Now, as you just saw, it's not hard to get off, it's just a little bit awkward and they're kind of brittle, and this is just really in a terrible spot. So we wanted to show you on top because you're not really gonna be able to see what's going on when I start to do this. So this time I'm going to feel for the ridges. All right, that's off. Now, as you noticed, this is extremely tight. We've done them on the Supra. This is tighter than the Supra for sure. What we ended up doing is we ended up using a pick tool, and on that top clip, we just took our pick tool and we helped release it. And then that way we only had to focus on the bottom clip. So if you have a little pick tool set, these are like $2 or so. I'd highly recommend using that. Just be very careful. You don't want to accidentally poke a coolant line or damage anything else when you're down there. So now we're going to release this line. Again, if you just take a pick tool, you can just release it like that, and this will come right out. And that's so that we can get the inlet out. Now the inlet is pretty much secure, or it's pretty much loose right now, but it's just held in with that C-clamp. I'll use my other driver so you can see. So I'm just going to take my driver and just push this C-clamp off on this side. And it'll go until it hits that groove. And then I'm going to just pivot this a little bit so I can get down there. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, I'm just going to reach down here, make sure that everything is disengaged. And then we could take our inlet, and as long as it's disengaged, you'll be able to slide it right off your turbo. Okay. And just carefully navigate it out, just like that. So here's a look at that C-clamp that we removed. So it's gonna sit in there like that. And actually, when you go to put it back in, all you need to do is put it in like this, and then these will flex out, and then it'll snap into place. So since all you can see is this and this, I took a screwdriver and I was able to push that down to the unlocked position. And then I got the same thing on the other side, and I pushed that to the unlocked position where you have a really good opening. Now, mine was a little bit twisted. I actually popped one of the sides out. Not a big deal. But like I was saying, all you need to do to put it back in is push everything down, and then it's gonna pop right back into place. At this point, we can have access to the lower portion of our charge pipe here. You will notice on the B58 that's in the G20, it has a little clamp here for this coolant hose. For whatever reason, the Supra doesn't have it, but it still uses the same part as this car. So what we need to do is just carefully separate this, just like that, and start to work the hose out. Okay. Okay, just like that, we'll keep that out of the way. Then what you can do is you can reach down and we can release the C-clamp for the charge pipe. Now, you'll see that there's a little notch right there. I typically can just grab the corner and then pull up on the C-clamp. But if you can't, here, I'll just take it all the way off. If you can't, all you need to do is just get some kind of like pick tool and just get it in there. But for the most part, I just grab it and just pull it out. Now, you don't have to pull it completely out, but if you do, it's not a problem. Then you can slowly start to just wiggle that off the turbo. Now, before we fully remove the bottom portion from the turbo, we still have it bolted up here, and there are two other connections. So just like the other connection, I'm going to take a screwdriver, pop that out. Then you can press down on that little clip and pull that off, just like that. Again, same thing, you pull this out, and then you use it as a little lever. Put that up there. And there's one more right here. Okay. So you press down, and you pull up, and you set that up here. Once you've done that, you can take a T30. You can release this bolt here, and then this one up here. Now that everything is disconnected, you can pull this out. It's gonna come out pretty easy. And you can pop this the rest of the way off the turbo if you haven't done so already. Okay. Now this charge pipe is significantly tighter than the Supra we did. So what we're gonna do now, there's a 10 mil under here. We're gonna loosen that. And then we're gonna be able to move this out of the way just to make it a little bit easier. Okay, I'm just gonna take this nut off. And then with that off, we'll be able to flip up this little bracket here. Okay. So the way that this works is it loops in here, and then it goes down, and then it's bolted in with that 10 mil. Once you've done that, we're gonna disconnect this clip again. You release it like that, then you push in this little button, and then pull it off. Now, if it ever gives you trouble, like this one doesn't really wanna come, you just take a pick tool, and you can lift the clip up from the front and then slide it off. And all you're really doing is you're taking your pick tool and you're getting it under this little piece of plastic and then just giving it a little assist. Now, because of how tight everything is, we just want to make sure that we're extra careful and that we make this as easy as possible. So we're going to disconnect a couple other things that we did not do if you watched our super video. I'm going to disconnect this right here. Put that like that. Then I'm going to disconnect this connection here. And these hoses are flexible, but they're not super flexible, so just be very careful if you are going to bend it. And then the last one we're going to disconnect is this one here. So to do so, you're going to disconnect it from up here, and then the other end of that hose is over here. So if you look through the back way, it might be a little bit easier to see. It's back here. Okay, I just pulled this off so you could see a little bit better angle. So you pull it off just like that. Okay, so I'm gonna get this, wires and all, and I'm just gonna set it up there and out of the way. And then there's a 10 mil nut right here. Looks like that. And there's this little grounding wire. And then there's another 10 mil. Okay. So this is what this looks like. The long spot goes into the motor, and then your grounding goes between this nut and then this one. So what we're gonna do now, we're just gonna loosen this top one a little bit. I'm gonna carefully take out this top one without dropping it. And I don't know if we said this before, but make sure to do this on a cool motor, because even if you let it sit for a couple hours, it still is going to be very hot. Once you remove that, this entire little bracket's gonna come out. This clip, all you need to do is just press on the top and the bottom. We're gonna set that out of the way. And now we've pretty much gotten everything out of the way that we possibly can without actually draining coolant and whatnot. So with that, we're gonna just take our charge pipe and then just carefully navigate this out. And while you're doing it, you just have to be careful of where your coolant lines are. But by taking all that extra stuff out, it just makes it 1,000 times easier, and you don't have to worry about breaking this. So here's a look at the plastic one that we removed, and then the new FTP one that we're about to install. Now there are two things that we need to remove. So I'm going to use a 17 mil 12 point to remove this sensor here. And it's super loose in there. Okay, so we're gonna take that, we'll transfer it over. And there's plastic threads on here, so you don't wanna overdo it because you could easily strip it out. Next, take a T25, and you're going to release this screw here. Now, when you go to install the sensor on the new pipe, you do not want to reuse the screw. You want to use the bolt that's provided, because this is plastic and the new one is going to thread into aluminum. Okay, so pull that out there. Carefully push that into place. Use the supplied bolt. Put that in. And again, you don't want to go crazy tight, just snug it up. Now, one of the most important parts of this installation is to take this seal, and this is going to go on the outside of our new charge pipe. You want to make sure that everything sits really nice. Now, if you look in the bottom, you don't need to transfer this over because it already has a new one. Now what you can do, if you haven't done so already, you can assemble your charge pipe. Now when we do this, you're not going to fully tighten the clamps yet. You just want to make sure that they stay nice and loose so that we can do any fine adjustments, but this is just going to help us get everything in place. So put the bottom part on, put the top part, put that on, and then just take a look. So if you look, they're pretty much facing the same direction. So when I look at this, just give it a quick twist. So they're pretty much facing the same direction. And just take your charge pipe and carefully slide it into place. And these go in so much easier than the old ones come out. Okay. Then I'm going to start to line up this section over here. I need a little bit of angle adjustment down for the turbo, and since I already have that C-clip in, all we need to do is just press this on and it's gonna pop into the turbo and lock in. So when you're doing that, listen for that audible clip. Okay, so that's the clip you wanna hear. Then give it a little shake, make sure everything is nice and tight. Then we can take this apart, push it in like that, and you can reinstall the screws you removed. And I'm gonna torque it down to 8 Newton meters. Then you can start to plug everything back in. And since we've got everything lined up, you'll see we pre-position these in a spot that's going to be easily accessible to tighten down once we have everything in place. We can reinstall our little bracket here. Then we're gonna install this, and again, the long side goes in the car. Okay, and pop that grounding wire on there, and then this is where the black nut goes. And we're going to put this vacuum line back on. This is gonna get connected over here. And then over here. And then we're going to line up this metal inside of this little groove. This goes like this. And you swing it down. And then we're going to put the silver nut on there. We'll plug this back in. Lock it in place. And then don't forget we have this up here. That swings over here. Okay, then we're just going to take this connection here. Clip that in. Now that all of this is connected again, we're going to take our inlet and slide it over the turbo. Make sure that your C-clip is down, and then everything will just pop right in place. Just navigate it down and around. Okay. And you just clip it in place, and like we did before, always make sure you wiggle it around, make sure everything is good. Now over here, again, it's gonna be super hard for you to see, but you are such a pro at this now that you won't even need my help. We need to take this little vacuum line. We need to rotate the inlet around, and then you need to clip that back on. Okay, and you clip that on. If you have any trouble, you can just take a driver and just very carefully just clip it on like that. So now what we're going to do, we're going to reinstall the airbox. You just want to make sure that all of these plastic pegs are going to go in all of these grommets. And you want to make sure that this piece right here of the airbox is going to fit inside of the air channel that's bringing fresh air into the engine. So let's take this, navigate it over here, make sure that everything is lined up, and then you can just press it into place. Then take your inlet, make sure it's nice and loose. Just put it on like that, and then you can tighten this screw. Then you take this airflow sensor, click it, and lock it in place. And then one more thing. You want to take your motor cover and throw it on. What I like to do, I like to aim up this little oil cap right there with the center. That's going to help you get everything positioned nice. And then press all four down, and we are done. At this point in the process, everything is fully installed. It fits really nice, even with the engine cover, and it looks incredible. One thing that I really like about this, not only is this going to last the life of the car, but as you can see, it looks really nice. It fits with the motor cover. It's subtle. It looks kind of OEM. It doesn't scream aftermarket. And yeah, it's just a great bang for the buck. And with that, the installation is 100% complete, and we are ready to start cranking up the boost in this G20 M340i. If you're interested in any of the parts or tools we use in today's video, be sure to see the links down below. Once again, my name is Brian. Thanks for watching Kies Motorsports. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and check us out at KiesMotorsports.com. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.